what I have.
Namaste, you guys. We're going to use a strap today, preferably an 8-foot strap, but you may not have that at home. So when we get to what we're doing, just do your best if you don't have an 8-foot strap. But if you do, this is how we're going to loop it. Hold the bracket with the teeth or the groove facing you. You'll take it through this lower opening. Why is this one not going through? There it goes. And then you'll loop it back through where the teeth or grooves are. Like this. Okay. Hey everyone, glad you're here. Monday morning, get our yoga on. Are going to potentially use a strap. Not everyone needs a strap, but I tried to make one for everyone. It'll be looped for what we're gonna land in towards the end, which is Lotus. Lotus position will come naturally to some of you. For others, it might be a little bit of a challenge. That's the strap, so we can keep ourselves bound for the sequence we're going to do at the end. So we'll try to prepare for that. So yesterday was August 8th, which is always considered a lion's gate according to astrology and numerology. The number 8 is the number of prosperity and abundance. It's like the sign of infinity, represents as above, so below. So that's honored every year, but this year is considered to be especially a little bit more potent because it lined up with the new moon. The new moon happened to be in Leo. And as you know, the lion is the symbol of Leo as well. Think about the qualities of a lion. A lion is fierce. A lion has courage. You think of bravery when you think of a lion. We think of the sun with the lion. Just think about the mane of a lion. We often think that is like the sun because Leo is also a fire sign. So I don't know if you've been feeling the energy pouring in or not, or if you've had any visions or any moments, but a lot of this energy started coming in July 28th. It was going to be at its peak yesterday. And there was a point yesterday afternoon, I went to sit out on my deck to meditate. And I go out there often, the same time of the day. There was not one sound coming from nature. There were no insect sounds. There was no bird sounds. And I've even done little video clips from the deck. And I even went back to look at those, and the sound of birds were so loud. I'm like, it is completely silent right now. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it made me think this is different. It feels different. And yesterday, everybody in my household was like, why is today feeling so odd? Even Rob, when we were going to bed last night, he went to class with me yesterday morning. He was like, why does class feel like 2 days ago? And it was just this morning. Kind of felt like we were in a little bit of a time warp. But these energies are going to stay strong until the 12th. So because I am focusing on the lion's gate, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. We're going to do lion's breath. We're going to do the lion pose. And we're going to eventually build up to Lotus because there is a version of the lion's pose where you're actually in the Lotus position. So we'll build up for that. We'll start on our backs. So go ahead and recline down into a corpse position. And go ahead and place your hands lightly on your stomach. Let your upper arm bones land to the floor. Let your feet kind of fan out away from one another. And close the lids of the eyes. Take some time just to notice the contact of your body against the earth. If you need to make any physical adjustments at this point, feel free. Otherwise, remain and start to take a hold of your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose in a diaphragmatic way so that your belly's swelling on your inhalation and retracting away on the exhalation. So the energies that are pouring in right now are said to be bringing down divine light codes. These light codes that are going to be implemented into our system at different rates, at a different pace for each and every person. I want you to consider, since we're talking about the Lion's Gate today, how the lion shows up in the Indian culture, since this is the roots of our yoga practice. So if you look at the goddess Durga, Durga was the goddess of war. She was the goddess of strength and power. And she's often depicted riding out to war with all her weapons, riding upon a lion. There is also an avatar of Vishnu called Narasimha. This is where we get the term Simhasana, which is the lion's pose. He was considered half man, half lion. And his purpose was to destroy evil. Now, coming back to the Lion's Gate, with it being on a new moon is about fresh starts and new beginnings, new direction, new choices. So this is a time to start to open up our minds to new potentials, to new possibilities. To open our hearts to more strength and more courage. So basically bracing your inner lion or lioness. This is a time to keep our vibrations high, to intentionally hope and dream, and to specifically ask in details what it is that we need or want. It's a time for manifestations. Uranus is squaring the sun and moon that are both in Leo, and it's adding a strong potential to release things, to break through things, so that we can promote positive change. So there may be some things collapsing, some relationships ending, some things that may be falling apart in order to create space for something new. Embrace that change is constant and always occurring, and change is on the horizon. And as my numerologist says, change is coming, ready or not. Take a few more deep breaths in and out through the nose. We're going to start with a little bit of core work, which will also help to warm up the hamstrings. Extend your legs if they're not already. Extend your arms up overhead, creating a minor X shape with your body, nothing too extreme. On your inhale, you're lifting your left leg and your right arm up, maybe even possibly tapping the toes. Don't worry if you can't. Exhale, recline down. Inhale, the right leg soars up along with the left arm, alternate limbs meet, and exhale, release. And you're continuing, alternating the limbs. Inhaling is going to bring them up towards the ceiling, and the exhale is going to ground them down. So I can tell from my peripheral vision, you guys are doing this in a mindful way. We don't want to just flare or kick the limbs. We want to consciously control the movement, just like we're trying to consciously control the breath. So you'll notice, yes, it's warming up the hamstrings in the back of the leg, but it's strengthening the hip flexors, and it's also activating the lower abdominals. Working from the shoulders to elevate the arms, and then we're going to start to add in a little bit more activation in the core. So the next time you lift your left leg, right arm, lift your head up and kind of cross over your midline and release. When you lift your right leg up in your left arm, you're lifting your head up and crossing over to that side. Now we're starting to move into the rectus abdominis muscles as well as the side obliques. And so there's 3 different chakras that are getting higher activations right now. One of those being the solar plexus, the place of the indwelling sun. The second is the heart chakra, the place where I mentioned we can draw up courage. And it has the fountain of infinite love. And then the third is the third eye, the 6th chakra, the place of our perceptions and our knowing. Just do one more to each side. And then recline down into the pentacle pose. This is more of a yin way to perform Shavasana. Let your shoulder blades release down. Let your fingers naturally curl in. Feel the natural little sway in the low back, but also feel how it's stretching out the abdomen. Take your breath all the way down into the belly and reclaim it. Now on your next in-breath, let's go ahead and draw the knees towards the side ribs. Take the hands up to find the feet. Now creating a hip opener. Ananda Balasana, the happy baby pose. There's different ways to hold the feet. You can hold the insides or the outsides of the feet. You can loop the peace mudra around the big toe. But try to anchor down through your low back. Keep your neck relaxed. Soles of the feet facing upward. We're going to do one more core exercise. Release your hands from the feet. Shift your knees forward, more in the direction of your hips. So the soles of the feet are facing the candles at the front of the room. Scoop in through your belly, lifting your head off the floor. Squeeze the elbows down and in. Bring the knees to attach to the outer frame of the arms. Flex your wrists. And take the throat to open so you're gazing just beyond your fingertips. Flex the feet and splay the toes. This is like a supine variation of the crow pose. Let's take one more breath. And then as you exhale, place your hands behind the occiput, the base of the skull. Bring the soles of the feet down to the ground, fan your knees open, and take the supine version of Baddha Konasana, the bound angle, what's sometimes referred to as butterfly. Close your eyes. We're going to be prepping for Lotus. And with Lotus, we need the external rotation of the hips. So let the knees gravitate down as you soften your inner thighs and soften through the buttocks. Letting go of any resistance, moving into a state of allowance and sweet surrender. Shielding the eyes with your lids and affirming here as you hold. Secure in myself, I accept whatever is. Secure in myself, I accept whatever is. All right, when you're ready, let's close the knees together, and then let's enclose the knees to the chest and wrap them up with the arms. Coming into Uttanasana, the wind release pose. Roll over to one side of your body and slowly come up to take a seat. But we're going to sit in a particular manner. We're going to go ahead and do a version of Simhasana, the lion's pose. So the big toes come together to touch. The knees are going to splay. We're sitting back towards the heels. Your hands can come down, and then you're going to dial your hands so that the fingers are facing your body. You're resting on your palms, and this can be a pretty intense stretch, especially if you're typically using your hands a lot through the day. When I did this yesterday, I happened to look over at Rob, and his wrist couldn't even touch the floor. He plays guitar hours and hours a day, and his hands are all curled up. So just notice how it feels for you in your body. And then we're going to do the lion's breath. Now, the lion's breath is said to be medicinal and therapeutic for singers. It's good for the tonsils. It's good for the throat. And it's supposed to be helpful if you have bad breath, and it's supposed to be nice and cleansing for the lungs. So just a few benefits there. You're going to feel a little bit like Gene Simmons because you're going to be expelling your tongue, but we're not going to be wiggling the tongue. It's just going to spill out, okay? Now, when you open up your eyes in Simhasana, you can either gaze beyond the tip of the nose, the Nasagram Drishti, but that makes me feel like I'm going cross-eyed. So the other variation is looking straight up. That's what I prefer. You can do either. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Expel it out through the mouth. 2 more. Last one. Slowly going to feel the hands off. We're going to draw the thighs together. Check in with your knees. If your knees are not in compliance with this, try sitting on a block. The block can go in between your ankles. We're going to flip the hands so that the fingertips are facing the lap, the back of the hands kind of pressed together, a little counter stretch. Turn the fingertips back up towards your chin. And then we're going to take the arms forward, and this is going to be like our paws, resting on the knees. We're going to do another lion's breath here, just the singular one. Inhale. This is one you'll often see depicted with BKS. All right, we're going to come forward now to hands and knees. When you come forward to hands and knees in tabletop position, we're going to do cat-cow, adding in the lion's breath. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. So go ahead and roll with me. Take a cat stretch as you breathe in. As you breathe out, lion's breath and cow tilt. Inhale, cat stretch. Exhale, lion's breath. Continue. So you're lucky. We have no mirrors here for you to see your reflection. And we advise people to keep your eyes on your own mat. Concentrated on your own self. But years and years ago, when the Yoga Society was a pretty strong institute in town, we met at Centennial Park that big park in Nashville. And there was a group of about 20 of us out there doing this and lion's breath with a bunch of other poses because it was Cuban lead style. We got laughed at and pointed at. They didn't get it. Draw the navel in, curl the toes under, take it to downward facing dog. When you lift up to downward facing dog, really focus on your hands because this is the primary foundation. Spread the fingers, extend them out, press them down, push into the forward part of your hands, that fleshy part right above the indentation of your palm. That way, not all the weight is dropping into your wrist. Let your head bow between the arms, gaze in the direction of the feet. Affirming here, calmness is beginning to radiate within every fiber of my being. On your next in breath, walk and travel the feet forward to the top of the mat. Coming into Uttanasana, step your hands forward of your toes if they happen to touch the floor. If they don't, just let them dangle. You're going to walk it out here, just like you would walk the dog in that previous pose. Bending one knee, straighten the other leg. Just going back and forth between the two. Eventually straightening them out. Rooting down to the four corners of the feet, lifting up through the kneecap, lifting up through your sits bones, and driving the heart lower towards the knees and chins. Let your neck release. Affirming here as you hold, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. On your next inhalation, press down through the soles of the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up. Remember, 8 is the sign of abundance and prosperity. Draw the abundance your way. Exhale, bring yourself right down through the center to Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen out halfway. We're going to do a couple A-Sri Namaskars to warm up. Step it down the mat to plank, immediately drop low to Chaturanga. Hover until you're ready to breathe in. On that inhalation, you'll build to upward facing dog, and your exhalation will roll you back to downward facing dog. Increase the space between each vertebra as you lengthen your arms and your back. Take one more deep breath. Inhale, you can meditationally walk, lunge, or float the feet together to Ardha Uttanasana at the top. Exhale, close into self. Inhale all the way up. Again, gathering what it is that you need to proceed forward. Exhale, lower down. All the way into the standing forward fold. Inhale, sprout up. Exhale to Chaturanga. You can even bounce back if that's in your practice. Inhale to tilt the arms, the pelvis is elevated off the floor. And exhale, roll it back, downward facing dog. Now we focused on the hands earlier, but you also want to equally focus on the feet. Pressing down through the areas that are touching the floor. Allowing the heels to elevate some to give you more height in your posture. We're trying to send the energy up to the peak. Just like these times are about ascension, this pose is about ascension. Inhale, bring the feet to the top of the mat, however you'd like to arrive is fine. Exhale, close back in. Inhale all the way up. We're going to do one more of these. Exhale, fold to Uttanasana. Feel that movement stemming from the solar plexus. Inhale, halfway up. Continue to ignite that inner fire transformation Making yourself go through the execution of these poses that forms this type of vinyasa. Aligning in downward facing dog, and we'll meet each other there. Reacquaint to your breath. The breath being the heart of yoga. The breath that can drop you out of your head, that you embedded more in your heart of hearts. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana at the top. Exhale to Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring that salutation seal down to heart center. And we're going to change up the flow. Inhale, we're taking fierce pose. This chair is often called fierce as well. And fierce is like the attribute of the lion. Sitting down and deep into your hips. Drawing up through the navel. Exhale, pour down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, we're going to step the left foot through. We're going to plant the back foot firmly to the floor. We're going to take the left hand to a block or keep it grounded on the sticky mat. Gluing those two limbs together and sailing that right arm skyward. Notice how much more weight is in the front foot. See if you can equalize it to the back. See if you can dial your heart more towards the sun. And now bring yourself up to Virabhadrasana 2. From Virabhadrasana 2, exhale, bring it right back into side angle. This time the top arm is going to reach out alongside the ear. Becoming a fountain of boundless energy and power. All right, we're going to spin away from the back heel. We're going to bring both hands down. Separate your left foot over to the edge of your mat. You can choose to be on palms or fists. But the back knee is going to stay up. You're pushing back through your calf and heel. You're also lunging a little bit more ahead with your left knee. So take your thigh bones in opposite directions. Good. Exhale, land your back knee, shin, and foot. We're going to wing the left knee away from the body. Good. Rolling away from the sticky mat to the outer edge of the foot, the knife edge. And then exhale, we're going to close the knee back and towards the shoulder. Okay, we're doing 7 more. We're doing 8 of these. Wing it open and draw it back in. That's 2. Inhale, wing it open. Exhale, close it in. That's 3. Stay with your breath. Two different actions here with the hip. Synchronizing that pace with your personal breath. Whenever you achieve 8, you're going to curl the back toes under. You're going to re-lift the back knee. Okay, I'm going to turn this way so I don't confuse you. All right, from here, we're going to use that back foot to shift forward like we would for Chaturanga. That's it. Keep the knee attached to the arm. Flex and float the foot up. Step it back, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Staying with this left side, pick up your left foot. Take downward scorpion. Bring that knee all the way through. And we're gonna lay down in pigeon. So walk it forward and out. And lower it down to your specific edge of flexibility, wherever that may be. Move into a quieter place within. Openly receive the breath, openly receive the gifts of this pose, and openly receive the downloads that are coming our way. This is a time where the veil is thin. Important time to trust your intuition. On your next in-breath, we'll gently begin to rise up. We'll flatten the hands, curl the back toes under, take it up to plank. We're resetting here for the next vinyasa, tipping forward and lowering to chaturanga, inhaling to upward facing dog, and exhale, rolling back to downward facing dog. So now we're going to operate the right side and prepare it for lotus. So the right foot's going to step through between the hands. We'll settle down the back heel. We'll fan the left arm skyward for this variation of side angle. Keep your right arm and knee attached, gluing them towards each other. And then submit your back foot more firmly to the floor. Dial your heart a little bit more skyward. Draw up through the left hand. Bring the torso over the pelvis. Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, bring it back into this variation of side angle, Ardha Uttanasana. Becoming that fountain of boundless energy and power. Exhale, bring the hands down. Walk the right foot over to the edge. Keeping the back knee off the floor. Heel pushing back. Right knee lunging slightly more ahead. Breathe. Bring the back knee to the floor, untuck the back toes. When you're ready, roll open with your right hip. And then exhale, close it back in. 7 more rounds. Inhale, fans it apart. Exhale, brings it back your direction. We're doing a blend of strength and flexibility here versus just hanging out in the yin shape. Now, after you have achieved 8, curl the back toes under, re-lift the back knee, Remember, we shift forward like chaturanga. We bend the elbows like chaturanga, but we're picking up the right foot, flexing it, stepping it back, moving the heart through and up. Exhale, rock and roll back. Now inhale, right leg lifts. Strike downward scorpion. Honor that inner left thigh. When you're ready, unroll the hips. Prepare for your pigeon. Uttanasana. Finding your edge, wherever that is today. We're done with vinyasas, guys. So lean towards the right hip. Bring the left leg around. Okay. So you can use your strap for this if you'd like. Testing the half lotus before we get to the full. So this is Uttanasana. The next pose we're going to do, your foot can actually remain on the floor in this state, okay? But let's just see. Scoop up underneath the right heel. Pick it up with your hands. Carry it across to the upper left thigh. And instead of letting the foot release all the way over, look at your heel and kind of line it up with your belly button. Okay, how is it? Yay, nay. Take the strap around the foot. If that's hurtful for your ankle, knee, or hip, bring it back down like this, and you can still use the strap. Okay. Your right arm's going to circle around. You can even take a twist to get the hand farther behind your back. But then we face the front again. Elevate your left arm. Flex that left foot. Push down through the left thigh bone. You're going to feel your calf kind of smush it to the floor more than your thigh, but that's the action. And on your exhalation, you can drop forward, radiating the heart towards the toes. Traditionally, we gaze out towards the foot, but there were years that I hung my head here because it does stretch out a thread through the neck that can feel really good. And now I'm going back to gazing at the foot because I realize I've lost the curve in my neck. So if you know your neck condition, you've been to the chiropractor and had an x-ray before, that may give you some good information to determine where you should gaze in certain poses like this, down or forward. All right, inhale, let's draw it up. All right, we're gonna move that strap. Take the right leg out. We'll bring the left foot. Okay, same idea. You can actually be in Uttanasana for this pose. So let's just try. Scoop underneath the foot. See if it's possible to create that half lotus. One side may be way easier than the other. Okay. too much resistance. If it hurts, place it back down. Take the strap over the foot. Left arm will circle behind you. And then lift your right arm. Turn your right toes up. Slam wide. Push up through the heel as well. And then exhale, forward fold. Yogi's choice, where you place your drishti. Just set your drishti in one place. I'll entertain you guys for a minute, tell you a little story. So yesterday I was like determined, like, I want to meditate often through the day. I want to get yoga practice in. I want to be outside at some point. You know, it's the lion's game. And I told my family, I'm like, you're going to see me lighting candles, burning sage, just, you know, whatever. And so last night I decided, they need in on this. So remember those sheets that I did last year, and we used them for teacher training with the basic philosophy of yoga, the picture of the tree. I made my whole family sit at the dining room table last night. I gave them pen, gave them paper. I'm like, we're going to go over yoga philosophy. You need to know this. And we had these discussions about each one. On your next in-breath, we're slowly going to come back up and move back straight. All right, so lean back, flip-flop your feet in and out, because we're going to attempt our full lotus. Okay, so was one side easier than the other? Yeah, which side was easier? Your right was easier, good. Okay, anybody left side easier? Yes, that's interesting. Anybody think you can do full lotus? No, yes, you can do full, just do full. If you can do full, you don't even need a strap for this, okay? So the full lotus, I'll just demonstrate, and you can test the waters. Your body may be ready for this today. You'll take a hold of your right foot to the left thigh first, and then to get into it, you lean forward, slide the left foot so you can scoop up underneath it, bring it on top. And if you have slick clothing on, which I think you're fine, but if you have slick material on and if the feet start to slip away, all you have to do is flex the ankles and it kind of locks them into place. Okay? If you can only do one side of the lotus, right? Say it's your left side. Your right foot is going to go up underneath your left thigh. So you're going to be half and half. Instead of forcing it, Indian style, where your ankles are just up underneath your calves. Don't even worry about lotus, okay? Those of you that can do lotus, you may want to come out because I got to instruct the strap. And we're going to do some poses in just a minute. If you need the strap, if a foot is crossed underneath your calf, so that won't work, Sadhasana. Oh, you can do lotus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I just never came in.
You're taking a break. So if you're in half lotus and a foot is under the thigh, or if both feet are under, this is where we need the strap. Okay, so follow along with me. The strap goes under the foot and thigh. Go ahead and do it. Can you try it?
Yep.
Because otherwise you'll get left behind. I don't want you to be left behind.
No, underneath it.
And then take the twist. Guess what? Figure eight. Infinity. That's another reason why we're doing this. And then you would take the other strap up underneath. You're trapping, basically you're trying to trap your feet with your thighs, and then you have to tighten the belt, right? So now you can do the poses like we're gonna do. You just look different, okay? The first time I ever used a strap at the old original studio, everyone laughed and said, "You're going S&M on us." It's not meant to be that kind of bondage, but whatever. All right, so lotus. If you can take lotus, traditionally, the right foot goes first, then the left. has something to do with the meridians and digestion and activating all the thousands and thousands of knots. Good. So we're going to do a different lion's breath. So if you're too close to the mat, just kind of bring yourself back. And this is even a pose. So you can even strike this pose if you want to build some strength. But what we're really going for is rocking forward to the knees. I know. It's one of those grunt poses. But instead of staying stacked on top of the knees, we're actually going more towards like an upward facing dog. So the hands wall forward. You dip the hips a little bit towards the floor. It's not going to be perfect. You lift the head up and we do a lion's breath. Ready? Breathing in. All right. Now, another thing you can do is stack your hands shoulder distance apart. And you can do push-ups here. We're just going to do 3 just to give you an idea of how you can have some fun at home. Because you may want to tie yourself up at home and do this. Just make sure if you do that, there's someone else at home that can get you out if you don't know how to get yourself out. And then come back onto your seat. And you may be here, folding over your lap. You might be able to go deeper. For your ankles. Yes. I know. We really need for Lotus, kind of need a 2-hour workshop to prepare ankles, to prepare knees and hips, and then do all the fun stuff. So Jen and I will put that on the books at some point. It's fun. There's a lot of fun Lotus poses. So if you follow Drum Vinyasa on Instagram, it's like vinyasa, but it's drumming. Anyway, they had a guy drumming over the weekend and a guy doing handstand with Lotus, and it was gorgeous. Into Lotus, yes, yes. And then gently come up. It makes you sad. Don't let it make you sad. I've been doing it 20 years and I still can't do it. But it's not really my goal either. All right, take your hair down if it's pinned up. Now we need to kind of hop forward. Before you roll back, let me show you what we're gonna do. It's called tranquility. Okay, tranquility is very similar to shoulder stand, very similar to Death Man's pose, except we're in Lotus. You can catch your hips or your back. I don't have the balance today. But you can set your hands up underneath your knees. I'm just going to stay here. So this is tranquility. And then from tranquility, you'll hold that for several rounds of breath and eventually land in fish. Okay. So yeah, your hands can actually be on the mat. They can be holding your back. And Maggie, that looks great. Just lift your knees higher. Yes. I know, it's core work, and sometimes you have to get a little momentum. All right, when you're ready to come down, you can contract your core. Land your elbows and knees, arc the spine, bow the head back, fish. This is the more traditional variation of fish. If your ankles are done for, you can follow Jen's lead. She straightened her legs, point to the toes. You're welcome to go there. Still fish. And breathe. Good, and release. Release your feet. Roll out your ankles. That will feel nice after holding that for so long. And that was our final inversion. I'm going to invite you just to lie down because it's Monday. It's new moon energy. I'm gonna dim the lights. So we did several different variations of the lion's pose. We activated the core. We worked into the heart. Now we're going to stimulate the third eye more. So as you take your place of rest, gaze in and up to your mind's eye as if you were gazing off into the distance towards a mountaintop. Know that when we join together this way, that our energy collectively comes together and becomes more exponential. Set your intention to move inward, to plant positive seeds of intention, to clear and purify your energy, so that the law of attraction can work in our favor. I want you to take a moment just to observe your breath flowing in, flowing out. And imagine in your mind's eye that you are looking off towards the mountaintop. And right above the mountaintop is the radiant sun. Set that imaginary sun aglow in your mind's eye. And picture those sun rays beaming down through your brow, coming down to the pineal gland. Pineal gland that allows us a higher perspective, greater intuition, and a connection to the deeper spiritual realm. Imagine that light shooting down through the spine. And in particular, activating the third chakra. So imagine a golden disc of light spinning clockwise behind your navel. This place of strength, perseverance, and willpower. Gives us confidence. Come back up behind your breastbone. Imagine another disc of light. This time it's green, spinning clockwise, clearing the energies of the heart. Helping you to tap into that infinite well of unconditional love and compassion. Drawing up the courage to be authentically you. Bringing that attention back to the brow, imagining a blue disc of light spinning clockwise. To open up our imagination, to receive new insights. And imagine coming down from the sun as an orb of light. As it gets closer to your body, it surrounds your body. And then it starts to form a pyramid. Pyramid of light. Light is shining down horizontally, vertically, diagonally, really in all directions. Creating this shield of protection. In this shield of protection, I want you to call in any energy that may have scattered or shattered from you at some point. Call it back in so that you are and feel whole. Imagine in this whole state, you have cleaned up any karmic accounts. Ready to ascend. Just like the pyramid of light has its peak pointed up towards the heavens, that's how our energies evolve. The last bit of light I would like you to imagine is a golden disc of light surrounding your head, very similar to the mane of a lion. To be with this imagery, take 8 more breaths. Your 8 breaths. You can inhale, stretch the arms overhead. You can exhale, curl into yourself. You can rock gently, sweetly from side to side. And when you're ready, roll over to 1. Keep your eyes closed, and I want you to think for a moment on where you may feel stuck or stagnant in life. Maybe it's in your communication with your partner. Perhaps it's the direction with your career. Maybe you've just been in a personal funk. Maybe you've been engrossed with a feeling of fear or anxiousness. And then consider what it is that you would like to release. If this is a time of collapse, if this is a time where things are getting completed or finished or falling away, what would you like that to be? Maybe it's a piece of your personality. Maybe it's a conditioned idea that you just can't quite break free from. Maybe it's a habit. And then the final question I want you to consider, what are you trying to create, manifest, either for yourself, your family, or what you would prefer to see in the world? And then go ahead and press your way up to sit. I gave you all paper, little Post-it notes. And I gave you a pen to write with. So number one, where are you feeling stuck or stagnant? Where are you feeling stuck or stagnant? Number two, what do you need to release? What do you want to let go of? And it may tie in with what you just wrote for number one. I'll give you a personal example. So this entire year, I've been so in my head trying to figure out how to reach people, how to help people, and spinning my wheels, trying to do every avenue that I could possibly think of. I wasn't feeling like it was enough. And I was driving myself crazy. And then just a couple weeks ago, I was like, enough. I gotta get out of my head. I'm doing enough. I'm reaching the people that I need to reach. The people are showing up that need to be there. I can only do what I can do, and that's enough. And it's been so freeing. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just living day by day, and it's been amazing. Okay, number three. What do you want to create or manifest? What is that deepest desire that you want to see come into fruition? Or maybe it's, more of a global idea. Maybe you want people to finally wake up to the fact that the planet is shifting and the poles are shifting, and that's why we're seeing so many floods and fires and chaos in our environment. And no one's talking about that. Maybe it's for the health and healing of humanity. Maybe it's, I just want my dream home. And whatever that looks like. Could be a tiny home. Less to clean. Less vehicles, less responsibilities. Okay, that's yours to keep. You can put it on your dashboard in your car. You can put it up on your mirror so that you see it every day as a reminder when you're brushing your teeth. You can put it on top and on the fridge. You could do a ritual with it. You could write down on a separate piece of paper what you want to release and burn it. And then whatever you're trying to create, you can create a vision board for it. So we'll close all our practice. Sitting up nice and calm. Facing your palms together to Anjali Mudra. I see the beautiful light within each of you. And I bow to that which is within you. Namaste. Thanks for joining today.